Welcome to the Mujeres Create podcast. I'm Jessie, your host, and we're here to celebrate your limitless creative power. It's time to awaken your magic and manifest your wildest dreams. Join us for this next conversation. Welcome to Mujeres Create, my new podcast, and I'm here with a dear friend, colleague, and amazing woman who is creating a powerful new platform called Mother AI. Steph LeBlanc-Godfrey, welcome.
Thank you.
Steph is a graduate of Stevens Institute of Technology. She has an engineering degree. She has had an amazing 20 plus year career in tech and media, working for companies like Forbes, Fox, NBCUniversal, and most recently Google, 11 years at Google. And now she is leaving corporate to start her own venture, as I mentioned, Mother AI. I'm so fortunate to have Steph on this podcast. Her and I have a very unique, special story, which we'll share. Yeah. But I'm just honored that she's here, that she's making the time to talk to us about her experiences. And I couldn't think of una mujer más creadora que Steph.
Yes, it's so good to see you after so long.
I know.
And for our reunion to be this is just so appropriate and right for the seasons that we're both in.
Thank you. And before we move on into questions, is there anything I missed from your intro? Your personal background, your cultural background? I know that's something that's important to you as it is important to me.
Yes.
First generation, tell us more about you.
First generation American. Both of my parents are from Trinidad. And so grew up steeped in the Caribbean culture and have also passed that on to my kids. About 3 years ago, we got the opportunity to go to Trinidad and bring my husband, my kids who had never been, but also my mom and her siblings, my cousins and their kids. And you know how hard it is to get family together unless it's a funeral.
Yes.
And so to bring everyone together for such a joyous moment, we spent 2 solid weeks together.
Wow.
And it was just incredibly filling and healing. We've lost a lot of folks within our family. Mm-hmm. And earlier that particular year, we had a particularly devastating loss of my cousin who was in his early 30s. And so for us to get together in Trinidad, it was just really apropos for us to just connect on a whole new level that we hadn't before. And so my culture is really important. I lead with that. And so having to bring my kids and my husband to experience it and to see it to the point where they bring it up all the time. When are we going back? Or something that we ate or drank or that they saw or that we did. Like, it's a constant conversation around our culture. And so that's just so meaningful for us to have that and for me to pass it on so that we don't lose the recipes of our family is important.
That's so beautiful. And I had a similar experience. I have a huge Caribbean family from the Dominican Republic. In 2017, we all went back, 50 cousins.
Yes, love it.
First cousins to celebrate my grandmother's 100th birthday.
Okay.
And it was just, like you said, so special and meaningful to all go back and just reconnect, especially when we had my grandmother passed away in 2020, but when we had a matriarch that really was the glue in our family and not losing that. And I just love the fact that you are Caribbean just like me.
Yes.
Because as you know, there's not a lot of us in tech and media. There's not a lot of representation. So it's always nice to kind of see us thriving in these spaces. And
know that we're not alone, because it is isolating. I'm sure you can resonate with this where, growing up, I was the one and only in my class. I remember, I'll never forget got this question around like, what's your favorite holiday? And I was like, Labor Day. And people would be like, I'm from Brooklyn, so I'll explain why. But Labor Day was the Caribbean carnival.
Oh, wow.
And so that meant family came into town, parties, events, like all of this stuff. It was just like the buzzing moment from a cultural aspect. And so it was my favorite. But people look at me like, Labor Day, like not Christmas, not Thanksgiving. No, Labor Day.
It was the cultural aspect of it was your...
It was everything. And up through COVID, I had my kids. We would go to Brooklyn for Labor Day. They would play mass. And so they'd be in costumes and go across the stage and do all the things that I did as a little kid. And so having that cultural connection from a personal aspect, but I'll share a story really quick on the professional aspect of it. So the reason why I went to Trinidad in 23 is that I got invited to speak at a conference there. And so when I said yes, I hit up the WhatsApp group because that's where we all talk. And said, who's coming with me? It was 15 family members total that came. But I was at a professional conference, and the sights, the sounds, the smells, all of these things were my personal experience. No longer was it this separate line of like professional over here and it has to be this way and personal over here. Like the accents, the food for lunch, like all of that. And I was like, it blew my mind that my culture was centered in a professional space because I had never, ever seen it outside of like a heritage moment, a theme night where they like try to make curry chicken and roti and completely fail at it. And so like from that moment, I was like, I need to experience this more consistently and go back home and do that. And like so said, so done. I've gone back each year to engage and do speaking events and different things like that. And now in this new AI space, I'm even more excited to go back home and bring AI to the Caribbean.
It's beautiful how these experiences of culture nourish us and really fuel us. Now, thinking about reflecting on your identity as a first generation in your family to unlock these career opportunities, these spaces that you've been at in tech and media, what has been the most challenging, but also the most rewarding?
For me, I think the challenge came later in life because I thought I had no choice. It was work hard, go to school, keep your head down, work twice as hard as everyone, don't disappoint your parents, nothing less than an A, like all of these. So I'm just like, and close with me, again, my cousins growing up in that culture, even my best friend, it's Panamanian. And so surrounding me, that's all I knew is that you just work hard and keep going. And so it's not until probably later on in my career where I kind of sat back and I was like, all right, got the degree, check, got all the name brand jobs that you mentioned, check, got married, had kids, check, check, check. And then I was like, what do I want to do? Like now that I've like made mom, family happy, kind of broken all those barriers being first generation, and reached a level in my career to be proud of. What now? I got off of autopilot when I started asking those questions because now that I like satisfied my parents, and not to say that my mom was like super forcing it, it was just inferred.
Absolutely.
Inferred, mostly explicit sometimes, but mostly inferred. And so, you know, I got to start thinking about what I want to do and what life looks like for me. And it happened after I had kids, but in that space, I got even more motivated to model that for them so that they can choose, so that they can create the life that they want, versus like in our big age trying to unlearn all the therapy, all like the things that we need to do to be like, this is kind of the way that I want to live my life. It's helped me not get back onto that autopilot so that I can really focus in on living a life that I choose and that I want to create, and that's not auto. So
I love that, and I feel like I went through a similar experience where, I'm an immigrant generation. I immigrated when I was 11 years old, and my father didn't have the chance to go to college. I moved with my father here to New York, but he was always just telling me and my sister, you're going to go to college. I mean, I didn't know how or how we were going to afford it, but he was you're going to college. So I also felt like I had no choice. I had to learn the language, navigate college.
FAFSA and all of that.
Similar to you, it felt like I had no choice. And I think that was the best gift my dad could have given us, because you do kind of empower yourself to a degree when you're kind of navigating these spaces as a first generation, immigrant generation, where that's where our resilience, our creativity comes from. And I'm so grateful for that. Thinking about the places that you've been, I mentioned Forbes, NBC, Fox, Google, 11 years plus at Google. I met you during one of those pivotal roles as a retention strategist. And this is where my love for Steph comes from. So when I met Steph in 2018, I was going through the hardest, most painful moment in my career. And now I understand that I was also burnt out at that moment. When I came to you, I don't exactly remember who brought me to you. I think I was just desperate, crying to HR, trying to find a new role. I was, resisting leaving Google because, as you explain in your bio, it's the prestige of the company, the name Google, the perks, the benefits, the pay.
And especially first generation, it's like made it. You made it. There's no higher that you can get. There's
nowhere else you can go.
It's like get there and retire is what our parents would say.
So I literally, when I came to you, I was at the lowest point in my career. It was so hard. But coming to you, these are the things that I took away. First, the way I describe you to people when I talk about that experience is she's my Google angel. She's the person. You truly saved my life. I don't know if you realize that.
No, but
you truly saved my life. Because I was at a point where I was at a breaking point. And then I come to you and we have this conversation, and it was part of multiple conversations. And granted, it was part of your core role, but your kindness, your sweetness, your warmth, how you received me is what really made all the difference. And understanding your journey at Google helped me kind of understand that it wasn't just happening to me, that it was happening to so many people. And that was validating, because at the time I thought, I'm not smart enough. They made a mistake hiring me. I should have never came here. I should have stayed at Hulu, where I was happy and accepted and loved and celebrated. And then why did I come here for? I was blaming myself. And I'm why can't I just get this right? What is it? I was fairly new on my team. I had been on my team for 2 years. So I was really blaming myself. And I was combating the shame of it all, the pain, the frustration, the anger. I was so angry and just frustrated. And then you just kind of brought me to a place of more zen and understanding and calm. Not only that, but you also connected me to so many amazing women at Google, Black women at Google. And through those women, I just started to feel better and better and better. And then I came to the understanding that I can stay there all I want, but it wasn't a place that was serving me and my purpose. And I ultimately decided to leave, I think a year later.
But with your head held high.
But with my head held high, on my own terms, feeling different, more empowered, more invigorated, more motivated. I found an amazing role afterwards. But, another gift from that experience is that's when I started to really tap into my Black community. Prior to that, I had come from multicultural marketing, primarily Hispanic marketing. So at Telemundo, I was surrounded by Latino coworkers. not necessarily like Black colleagues that I could really learn from, lean on. When I went to Hulu, there was not a lot of diversity. A wonderful workplace, but not a lot of diversity. I was the one of 2 Latinas. There was like 1 Black person on the floor, on the sales floor. So I didn't have a chance to really build that community. When I went to Google, as ironic as it sounds, that's where I found my Black community.
Same for me.
And I'm just like, wait, what? There's so much diversity at Google.
I was like, what's the problem? That was literally my thing too. I was like, I see Black people everywhere. Day
I know.
that I've never seen in my career with all of the companies that I had worked for prior all together. Adding that all together still didn't even hold a candle to the number of Black people that I connected with, Black and Spanish people.
And, you know, for Latinos, I think the language part of it, when you find someone that speaks Spanish that understands you're Dominican, I'm Dominican. Oh my God. Like the music, the food, the sense of humor, you kind of gravitates naturally to your people, right? To the people that understand you, that know where you come from. You don't have to
explain yourself.
You don't have to explain yourself. So I had not been intentional about nurturing my Black friends, my Black network until I got to Google and until more importantly, when I met you and you connected me to so many wonderful women that I still hold precious to my heart to this day because you all saved me. And so from there on, I was very intentional about investing and nurturing those relationships. And I'm just so grateful. And I can talk about this forever, but I just wanted to give you your flowers because the work that you did in that role is so important to so many people. And one of the things that you mentioned in your bio is that, you know, we want to feel how people see us, perceive us in these roles, in these spaces. They think she has it all. She has the role. She has the pay, the company. Wow, she must be so happy. Oftentimes, that's not the case. That was not the case for me. My friends were like, you're crazy leaving Google. Why are you leaving Google? You're so like entitled. I'm like, you don't understand. Until you go through it, you don't understand.
Free food and perks only meet you, but so far when it is draining.
Yes, it was draining. And so that role, the work that you did in that role, and I know you helped so many people. I just want to say thank you. And I don't know if you want to share anything about those experiences or how that role really positioned you for the next role, which is head of global inclusion, or the work that you've always been doing. I was looking at your LinkedIn page, and you've always been in this space of helping and advocating and uplifting since you were in high school before. And I love that about you.
One, thank you. I received that fully, as uncomfortable as I can feel in my body. It's so important because I felt that. I felt so in my zone of genius when I was in that role, helping, you know, high attrition risk individuals, mostly Black and Latino women, navigate really crummy situations in their career that, as you mentioned, made you question your core. It is such a human deficit that we have to, instead of looking at the system and externally of what's wrong here, that we go inward. And we're like, okay, what can I do? And we spend so much time spinning up, okay, what can I do differently? How should I do this? Let me try this. Let me try that. And in those situations, oftentimes nothing you do moves the needle to change things. And so figuring out, or when we finally find out when things don't serve us anymore, is the best gift.
Yes.
Because it just frees the burden. It gives us the freedom to feel light and not care anymore and not stress and cry about it anymore and have a testimony of and I released that.
Yes.
And now I can go on and live. But let me share the story that this almost did not happen.
Oh my gosh.
Almost did not happen because I did not get that role initially.
Wow.
So about a year and a half before I finally did ultimately get into that role, I was in a sales role And I was like, this is just not me. Like, I'm telling these folks, like, check a box and you make $1 million. And they're like, not interested. And I'm just like, there's a disconnect here. Because, like, I would like to check a box and make $1 million. And so I went on this journey of trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do next. And so, but I wanted to stay within the company. And so I applied to tons of roles that were focused on community engagement within the ERG space, all of these. And always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Aww. I just couldn't get a role. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just update my LinkedIn, update my resume, and I'm out. Fine. Like, I will find love, career love elsewhere. You clearly don't want me. And so with that particular role, that retention role, when I didn't get it, I had shared it with a girlfriend of mine who's also a Googler. And she told me, challenge the no. Oh. And I was like, what do I have to lose? I'm going to leave anyway, because I'm like now checked out. And so I went to that hiring manager and said, I want to respectfully challenge your no. And here are the reasons why. Like, wow. I still have the email like printed out. It's my best email that I ever sent in my life.
Oh my gosh.
And here's all the reasons why. And here's what I can bring to that role. And thankfully, she was able to receive it. And when I met with her next to talk about the email, she offered me that role.
Oh my goodness. Challenging the no, which is something that not many people do.
No, we just accept it like, oh, okay, I guess it wasn't meant to be.
Yes.
And there's a space for that, but there's also a space for us to have agency of what we know is meant for us and to shoot our shot and go for it. And so that's what I did. And I mean, the impact that I had, you know, hearing like each person that I spoke with, like I wanted to adopt you. I wanted to bring you home. I wanted to like nurse you back to the esteem and a confidence that I know that you have, to remind you of who you are and the capability, like all of these things. And so I took each person that I talked to, like that relationship with such high regard and care. Because understanding when you're at your lowest point, who can build you back up again, is just beautiful that all these years later that you still felt that.
Absolutely.
Like, that was that is a part of what I was put on this earth to do. Part of
your legacy and your purpose. And I am a testament that everything that you just described is what you did for me. Yeah. And I'm just forever grateful, because I think coming out of that experience, that painful experience, and funny enough, when I went to you, my performance evaluation was at the lowest. When I just decided to surrender and just like, you know what, I'm going to do my best, but I know I'm not staying here. I walked out with the highest performance evaluation.
That's so funny, because we get in our own way. We question every email, everything that we do, and that impacts. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of like not doing well because you're overthinking and overanalyzing everything. Whereas I don't want to use it as like I don't care, but just sort of being at peace with what you put out.
And so I walked out of there and I'm like, I guess if I stayed here, I could be successsiple. But I'm like, I don't want to.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Because when a woman's fed up,
she's
nothing
out.
You can do about it.
Nothing. A lot of DEI is being, taken out of the budget. Defunding DEI. How important do you think these roles are for companies, but more importantly for employees?
I think my second best role at Google after I was in that retention role was leading our women of color community groups. And this was a real focus on the intersection of race and gender. And so the way in which that came to be is that I remember having this queer Black woman come to me and say, you know, I love BGN, but it's like mostly heterosexual men and women. I want to join Pride, but it's mostly white gay men. where's a space for me and my intersecting identities. And so that is part of the reason that we had so many of these groups that were then created that I got to lead. We had summits bringing together
amazing
women globally. And unfortunately, we fit all in one room at the time. But like, it was just great to see that we are here, that we're not alone. Because then again, globally, far and few between for certain offices. And so like that body of work, again, just built on what I was put here for, which was to create spaces where people can like feel good and find their people and like remember who they are and like just like soak in the energy that could sustain them when they're going through
it's powerful.
All the things.
And I remember attending Latinas at Google event in San Francisco, I believe it was. And like your battery just like charges. You're fueled by the energy, by the belonging that you feel, and it's so important to keep these things because, you know, corporate, the way the population growth is going more multicultural. So if we follow the population, corporate and all these spaces should be getting more multicultural.
Right.
I mean, it's an advantage to have more diversity, not only from an output perspective, but just to give people opportunities to thrive. So, but, you know, as these programs are going away and these roles, such as the one you have in other places, are going away, that really leaves us a little bit vulnerable in terms of...
There's no safe space for us.
Exactly.
There's no safe space for us to regroup, to vent, and then to go back out into battle, quote unquote.
Exactly.
Right? And so I think it's there. It has the culture, I think, just of society in general has just shifted from the need for community, but isolationism, just loneliness, because there aren't these spaces where they are most needed. And so I think we're in a real just tough space. And so I'm grateful for the work that I was able to do, because it's like one of those long-standing things where people still talk about it today, although it looks nothing like what it originally looked like. But the fact that they knew that there was a time where it existed, there is that sort of recreation that's trying to happen. And, you know, it's really sad for those coming up behind us that they don't have those spaces, because to your point of like the network that I introduced you to and that you've cultivated, you've kept that. So like even with DI going away, you got your people. Right. All right. Exactly. Like I've got my people. But what about the young like 20-somethings that are coming in and are like trying to find it, and these programs, these spaces don't exist? What do they do?
You know, I think for the younger generations entering the workplace, there's so many additional challenges. Oh yeah. Hybrid work environments. Sometimes
AI taking their jobs.
You know, COVID, the 4 years of COVID that isolated so many people. Yeah. Some of them went to school virtually. They were doing their college virtually, right, because of COVID. I think this new generation needs like another level of empowerment and belonging, and the fact that they're not going to find that necessarily, it is really heartbreaking.
Yeah. I mean, they're dealing with so many challenges, and even our current like economic climate, political climate, like all of that is just the world that they thought that they were going into. Yep. Doesn't exist in that same way anymore. The world that I thought I was going to be in
right
doesn't exist anymore. And at least I have some like a little bit of wisdom under my belt. Like I'm at a loss for how we not fix this, but how we reinvigorate those community moments and spaces and heal.
It's part of the reason why I wanted to pivot from corporate into an environment where I was doing more of this work, more of the mentorship, the coaching, the guidance, this podcast, putting out there the fact that there are tools, there are ways to connect, to create your own network. So the work that you're continuing to do and that I continue to do is super important. And it's very uplifting for me to see you now. Now, as we pivot into Mother AI, I first want to know about the challenges of motherhood today. I'm not a parent, I'm not a mom, but I've always been surrounded by a lot of young children in my family, a lot of moms. My sister, from like a Thea perspective, an observer, I can see the level of pressure that moms are handling these days. From you, as a mom of 3, and by the way, your oldest daughter looks just like you. She's your twin.
She's my twin. Oldest daughter, 15, a 13-year-old, and a 9-year-old. But do I look at them?
No, I'm like you.
I'm like, as
first
long as
of
I
all,
don't look like what
you
I
look
go
like
through.
her sister.
I'm good. It's so interesting. I have mentor, coach, friend that was like, you were made for motherhood.
Really?
This is what she told me.
That's beautiful.
And it's the through line to even the connection. There's just this level of like care and support and like wanting people to find and come into their own that I have, and kind of creating that space for that. And like, that is what I love to design for my kids. Who are you? Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? All right, if you want to try this, then let's go all in on that. If you want to try that, let's go all in. Like, you don't have to follow these rules. Like, I call myself like a country granola hippie like mom, because I'm like, play in the dirt, make a mess. Like, all these rules. I remember my daughter was like, I won't say which one so that no one gets embarrassed, that she was like walking around without a shirt on. And my husband was like, put a shirt on. And she was like, if I can't be myself in my own house, then where can I be myself?
You've done your job. I love it.
Where did you hear that from? Me.
You.
And I'm like, that was like a proud, like, be free in our home, because out in this world, there are just so many rules and people telling you what to do and how you have to be. And so I want home to be just a really safe space for them to explore and think and just be confident. And so, through that, I think the sort of, as I've gone through like on the business aspect of like what my mission is and having words to it, it is for women to feel as good on the inside as they look on the outside, as they look on a piece of paper. And so like bringing that together to your point earlier, where it's like, we got the job and then this, and everyone's like, oh, you're great. You look good, so you must be good. Like, those two do not equate to each other at all. And so I want to go beneath the surface of things and have these real conversations with moms, because that's just the life stage that I'm in completely. Elementary, middle, and high school. Like, I'm in the thick of parenthood right now. And so, the conversation around AI came as a low-hanging fruit in order for me to meet my community that I ultimately want to build. And so because AI is here, it's everywhere, and folks have no clue what it means for us, but our kids are going to be using it. It's going to impact their future. I thought, let me start talking to you about AI. And if you love how I talk about AI, then stick around for how I'm going to talk about parenthood.
I love it.
And so that's really the mission that I have for Mother AI, is that it's starting here, but the conversation is much bigger about parents who are super ambitious and focused, but also want to make sure that their kids are set up for success, but also emotionally and mentally healthy, and all of these goals and dreams that we have for them, but also things that we are working on within ourselves. And so how can we bring our kids along in a creative and age-appropriate way is the space that I want to be in. AI is like just the thing that we get to talk about now. but it applies. The way in which I'm teaching it applies to other areas of parenting.
I think with AI, I feel like it's been in the works for many years, but it kind of came crashing on us maybe last year, the year before. I can't remember.
23. It crashed on us.
It's like, okay, this is here. And
Yeah.
it's like massive.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are shying away from AI and kind of wanting it to go away. It's not going away.
No.
So the best thing we can do is really empower ourselves, our children, in using these tools responsibly, as you said.
Yeah.
And I am a fan of AI tools. I use, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yes, especially as an entrepreneur.
Especially as an entrepreneur. So I can just imagine for a mom of 3 like you, or maybe some women have more children.
Yeah.
Or even if you just have one, these tools are really there to help you, as you say, make more with less time. Right?
Yeah, it's my second brain, thought partner, researcher. When I'm up at like 3 a.m, I'm talking to it to help me plan my day. I'm not using it as to like replace humans or therapy or any of those things. I'm using it as like, I know I have X, Y, and Z to do tomorrow. Let me think through either what I want to say, what I need to do, so that when I show up the next day, I'm like prepared.
Absolutely.
And so that just collapses time. Mm-hmm. That's the way that I see AI. Using AI tools like chatbots specifically, it collapses time on the things that you need to get done so that you can focus on what matters most, whether it's time for you, whether it's stuff for the kids, whether it's even personal goals that you want to apply. And so I'm so excited to bring like this space to have this type of conversation and give folks the confidence and inspire creativity into how they can use it. Because every time I do it, like parents are like, they're like, mind blown that this is possible. And then they're like, wait, if I can use it in this example, then I could use it here, there, and everywhere. And so I just launched my first course 2 weeks ago. We're having our 3rd session tomorrow, where I'm spending an hour teaching them a little bit about AI so they can like have the language to like flex a little bit. And then here are all the ways in which I use it, which is homework help, which is finding gifts for teachers and family members and kids, and meal planning and organizing your house, and just all of these different ways that can like help get you to, your end result faster. And it's been incredible. The feedback has been incredible. The inspiration, the stories that folks have come back with even in 1 week, has been great. And so, your girl's got a scale now.
And talking about homework help, that is a huge pain point for so many parents.
They don't add the way we used to.
I know. One day I was helping my little nephew with his homework, and I was at Google at the time, and I could not do that math problem. It was like 4th, 5th grade math. Yeah. And I just couldn't do it. And I'm like, what is this? Yeah. What has happened?
You're like, I'm smart. I know that. I should know these
my
things.
nephew was literally like, Titi, don't you work at Google?
Kids will humble you real fast.
Why are you having such a hard time?
Guess what? None of this matters when you get to Google.
And then, I could understand how like something as like daily homework, finding the ways to kind of make it a little bit more effective, easier to digest all of the information that kids these days have to digest, and parents also. Yeah. But also cooking. One of the challenges is like, what am I going to cook today? Yes. And just having easy recipes with whatever you have in the refrigerator. Organizing your cabinets. I see the tips that you share, and I love the fact that it's also accessible and easy and digestible.
Yes.
But
those
things
are my
that,
3 main words.
Yeah, I love it. But things that moms don't have the time to think about, and being able to say, hey, give me a sample recipe for, I have salmon, I have veggies, I have this. What can I make that's different from what I made last week? Yeah, I think it's a beautiful tool that can help so many, not just moms and caregivers. I think everybody.
Caregivers too, right. Especially, we're considered the sandwich generation where not only do we have kids, but now we have aging, parents that we need to take care of, and having to navigate their care, insurance, doctors, healthcare, like all of that is just so much. And unfortunately, we live in a society where the resources are just not so easy
Right.
to come across. And so, I'm not making money from AI. Like, it's not this silver bullet because it can't cook the salmon and the veggies that it
Right.
identifies and makes a recipe for. So I still feel like it
Right.
has a long way to go. But it just takes that long thinking process out and like shortens it so that you can get to a space where you can then move on to execution.
Absolutely.
Instead of being in planning for so long.
I feel like I need to teach my mom these AI tools because she's always like, what am I going to cook today? Like she like worries and suffers over it every day. And I'm like, Mom, just make whatever you want. She's like, I don't know what to make.
I have a post on my Instagram where I shared my mom using AI for the first time.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that one. I'll go look for it.
It's so funny. She's like, because squirrels are like eating her plants. So she was like trying to find ways to do that. And so she's like, they better get it right or else. I'm like, are you threatening like Gemini? Like, what's happening here? Every time so recently I like started this new regimen, right? I'm 41. All the things are starting to like creep in slowly. And so I have this new supplement regimen.
I love that.
It's like 30 pills. Like, it's
my
crazy.
goodness.
The pills are like this big.
I'm on that journey with you.
Right? We're trying everything. I'm trying to be holistic about it, And so I put into the chat, I was like, here are all the things that I'm taking. Give me a schedule for taking them that will maximize absorption.
I love that. I need to do that. Oh my goodness.
It's incredible because like vitamin C blocks a lot of like other things, so you can't always
and so
take
does magnesium and
yes, which you're supposed to take.
The other one, yeah. Yes, but I think that's a really great utility for it because I'm on that same journey, and sometimes I take it at like noon, at 9, at 10 p.m.
Right,
and
but you don't know if it's actually working
right.
the right way. And so using that, it gave me like a whole, here's what to take before you even have breakfast. Here's what to take at breakfast.
I love that.
In between lunch. And it just, again, alleviated and maximized like what the health journey that I'm on. And then I had seen a nutritionist, and they kind of like gave all these things, but they didn't give like order of operations. Right. So it fills in the gap between, medical or professional advice that you can get, and fills in the gap between professional advice and then execution on that advice.
I love that utility. I will definitely be using that. Now, as we think about shifting from corporate to full-time CEO, entrepreneur, founder, what feelings are you navigating? What emotions? What limiting beliefs are you kind of fighting through? What is that process like?
The limiting beliefs. It's all gonna be so easy. I'm like, I know there's a lot. I don't know what I don't know. So I'm aware of that. So I'm just like proceeding with caution about that. But seriously, I have had different entrepreneurial ventures with my husband. We've been together since college. And so we've had different businesses together. But this is the first time where I'm like, this is going to be my thing.
Your baby.
Wholly and completely. And so I've been on this journey now for about 2 years. Being at any company as long as I've been at Google is interesting because in our day and age, we kind of hop from job to job. And I remember my grandfather being like, you can't keep a job. I'm like, I can keep a job. Every time I go to a job, I make more money. There's a difference between that and staying in a company for 40 years. And so being here, every time I thought I was ready to leave, then a new opportunity would come, another shiny thing would come, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. And then I hit the point when I started with Mother AI where I was like, I've done my assignment is complete here.
Yes.
And thinking about entrepreneurship, I'm like, that's a lot because it's like all on you. And so
Yeah.
for a long while, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. We got this lifestyle that we're accustomed to. My lifestyle for the first time for my kids is just expected that this is how we roll. And I was like, no, 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 no. We're all doing this for the first time.
Yeah.
And so wanting to keep that up, I was very hesitant. And so I just, through my faith, just kept praying that, like, you know, if this is for me, then I need not just the sign. I need the sign to be so clear that, like, anyone around me can see that, Steph, this is for you.
Yeah.
And that's what Mother AI has been from day one. I get so much affirmation that it hasn't even afforded me a time to like slip into like, oh, maybe this is not it.
Yeah.
Because I get that affirmation. So like the sign is clear that this is what I'm supposed to do. And so within the last 2 years, in terms of like building and trying to figure it out, and more specifically within the last 6 months, I'm like, what do I need to get in order? So like my finances, my estate planning, like I wanted all of that to be really clear and planned so that when I went into this, I didn't feel desperate about it. And oftentimes many of us leave a job when we're just like, F it, we're out.
Right.
And I for sure had that many a times as well. But by the grace of God, he kept me sitting there until it was the right time. Yeah. And so this moment is the right time for me. And there's this such an eerie sense of calm that I have. That. The level of calm is crazy. Like I go to question the calm. I'm like, I don't even want to question it because I don't want to jinx.
Don't question it.
But I'm like, it's just so clear and aligned. And I've been planning for it. And I have the support of my husband. I have the support of my mom. My kids are still like, how are we going to eat? And I'm like, what? Like, I was like, if you think we had a good time at Google, you just wait to see the things that we are going to do when I take this.
It's going to take you to so many beautiful places.
And they've had a great time. Like,
absolutely.
They've grown up quite literally at this company. And so with me. And so, yeah, my biggest thing that I'm in this moment, particularly within the last 2 weeks as I launch this course fully, actually on Saturday, is, wow, I used to stay up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning for work all the time. Right? Absolutely. Trying to get
waking
things
up
done,
at 5 or going
waking up at 5. And now I'm doing that same thing, but it's for me.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And I don't want to gloss over it. I'm just in this space of it being so right.
I love it.
Feeling so good. And that I have prepared for this moment. And so I don't have fear.
I love that. And I'm so happy to hear you say those words, because I think when we see people taking a big leap, we assume that it's just bravery. They had the bravery to leave behind something that was great, to look for something better. But I think what you've said is preparation, planning, being thoughtful about your steps, waiting for that right moment that feels right to you. Yeah. Especially when you have a family that, you are supporting. And
that part wasn't easy, to be clear.
Absolutely.
I went back and forth, and I'm sure you too, when you were thinking about making that leap of, I'm ready to go now.
Absolutely.
I'm ready to just like call it quits and just end it, and I'll figure it out later. But I had a solid community of people shout out to my mentor, Lisa Nichols, who was like,
Wow.
you are not going anywhere until you figure this out. And I will never forget. And she tells this story every single time. I sat on that couch with an attitude.
Yeah.
Like, how you going to tell me I can't leave? I'm a grown woman. And she was like, you are not leaving until. And through working with her as my executive coach for a year and a half now, like,
she's amazing.
It transformed. It transcended me to be where I needed to be. And the dividends are just paying off. And so I share that not to make it sound like this like beautiful love story that didn't have pain, but that I am on the other side of all of that turmoil.
Absolutely.
Around it. And my wish is that I had more faith that I would get to the other side versus how much we sit and stewing on.
It is a painful process when you're at the cusp of leaving. For me, like making the decision to leave corporate after 20 years.
Yeah.
Something that it's all I knew, how to be in the corporate environment. It was part of my identity because we make it part of our identity.
Yes.
We make it such a big part of our identity that you're kind of like, who am I?
Because that's how our society leads.
Yeah,
oh, who are you and what do you do? Where do you work?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. And then once you drop
they
the
light
name,
up, right? And then now I'm just like, I work for myself. And I've gotten to the place now. When I left corporate after 20 years, I was also, financially sound. I had my savings. I had like a plan.
That's the part.
That where I was not going to be vulnerable because we also don't have to put ourselves in that situation, right? So planning is very important.
Yeah.
For me, it was also kind of like, thinking about my grandmother in 1981 when she decided to move to the United States, immigrate to the United States, leaving behind 8 children. Her 8 children, my father was one of those children. The painful decision for a mother to make that decision for the best of her family, right? She literally left behind 1 peso, which I'm just like, what do you buy with one peso in 1981? She's like, you bought a lot of things. You could buy rice, you could buy chicken, you could buy beans. And I'm like, really? With one? And I'm like, how did you know that you were going to get on the other side? That must have been so fearful for you. She's like, I don't know how I was going to make it, but I knew I was going to make it. I was going to be able to send money back to my family. I was going to find a job and send money back. So thinking about her making that decision with no money at all. Like she had to borrow the money for her flight. She had to borrow the money for her visa. And I'm like, I have so much more. There's no way I won't be able to make it.
But
There's
I love
no
that
way.
that lineage story because then that sort of tenacity is in your blood. And same with me. My grandmother left her kids in Trinidad to come to the U.S. She was a nanny. And had horror stories about how she was treated here before she was able to finally bring them here. And then she got her nursing degree and built up in like all of these things. And so like that is in us from a more privileged place, but to remember that. And we always do it after the fact that we could like connect that. Because if I even had that connection story, like that too can bolster our confidence around if she could do that, then I could do this.
For women who are at the cusp of that decision, that's your advice, right? Planning for it.
You gotta make the plan, right? So that, because you don't want to, and I hated this advice in the moment, where, don't base it off of emotions. And I was like, I have a right to have emotions and to listen to my emotions and to act on them in a way. Like there's just this thing of like, I know you feel this way, but like push that down. I struggle with that, but emotions and the plan so that you know what you're doing so that you're not like, I did it. And then you're looking around trying to figure out like what's next. But identifying like what that cushion is. Is it moving back in like with your parents or is it your own? Just having that sort of plan just makes the next step as you even try to figure it out clearer and with less stress.
Absolutely.
Because then we'll stress ourselves right into a hospital with that sort of like, where is my next meal going to, like all of these things. But if, to your point, having, you know, the resources that you do, you're not going to be out on the street in 24 hours for making this decision.
Right.
So figure out how much time you have and then, you know, get to work.
As women, we're getting to that place of we need to advocate for ourselves, empower ourselves to make those big decisions for ourselves, make bold moves. And I just love everything you're doing with Mother AI. And I have no doubt that you're going to be on like Forbes magazine one day. I'm big on like manifesting like big things.
Go ahead. Tell me what else do you see?
You're going to be on Oprah, Forbes magazine. And I'm so grateful to spend time with you. And I think everybody listening to this podcast episode is going to walk away with a lot of empowerment, inspiration, next steps. And I'm just so grateful. And I think there's a second conversation that we need to have because there's more that we need to talk about.
I'm ready. Season 2 coming.
I love it.
Also manifesting for you.
Manifest. What are you manifesting for yourself? Like, where do you see the next step?
Time freedom, financial freedom, place freedom.
Love it.
That is my goal. And so to be on stages talking about the future of family,
I see it.
Being a media spokesperson.
I love it.
At the intersection of technology and parenting, a correspondent on a morning show. GMA,
everyone,
I'm ready for you.
I love it. Let's do this. Yes. Vision board. I mean, I feel like we need to create a new vision board for the second half of the year. Yes. Thank you again.
Thank you.
I feel like hopefully we can have another conversation before Oprah picks you up.
I will never get too big time for my people.
I love it.
We'll go on Oprah together.
Thank you, Steph. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is so much fun. This is so soul-filling.
Thank you so much. I love you. I'll be seeing you on television.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see everything that you accomplish with Mother AI.
Thank you. I receive all of that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Oh my God, this is so fun.
Wait, I want to do like a little recording.
Let me take a picture of you.
No, I want a picture of us.
Yeah. I want to take a picture of you sitting there.
Oh, okay.
With a mic. Oh, shoot. Let me clear my lens.
Okay.
I love it.
I love it. I feel like we have the same.
Oh, yeah? Oh my God. Stop. Thank you for listening to the Mujeres Create podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode and don't forget to share the wisdom with other mujeres.